y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Sunny and this is the best place for you to learn, grow, and transform. Today is time to talk about happiness. Different areas for you to evaluate in your life so that you can be as happy as you want to be. These areas that I want to share with you are 5 areas that I evaluate often in my life. These are areas that I constantly work on and I constantly try to maximize so that I can be happy. These areas that I want to share with you are also areas that I think everybody should evaluate, everybody should assess in their life so that they can maximize their happiness. Happiness is one of those things that drives us on an everyday basis. When we're happy, we're good. When we're not happy, everything hits the fan. I know happiness for me means a lot. I want to be happy as often as I like. And a lot of times we confuse happiness with the feeling of the absence of sadness. And that's not necessarily true, because in life we experience happiness, we experience times when we're happy, we experience times when we're sad. But we can be sad in a moment but still be overall happy with our life. And these areas will help you be happy with your overall life and not focus on small moments. The first area that I want to share with you is relationships. Relationships are key to our happiness because they are our driving force a lot of times. These are the things that we look forward to. These are the people that we trust. These are the people that we love. So evaluate your relationships when it comes to family relationships, friend relationships, romantic relationships, any relationships, even work relationships play a key part in our happiness. When we are happy in our relationships, when we have relationships that are fulfilling, when we have relationships that sets our soul on fire, when we have relationships that are conducive to our growth, we are happier. Think back to a time when you may have been in a romantic relationship or had a friendship that was maybe toxic, or you didn't feel as if you could be yourself. That spilled over in your everyday life because it affects your happiness. Relationships affect our happiness more than we like to think about it. I know for me personally, when my wife and I are good, we're good and we are like affectionate and showing compassion and communicating effectively and understanding each other, I'm happier on my everyday life, or I'm happier in my everyday life, and I'm happier in business. I'm happier overall in my life because that's a relationship that's key to me. So you have to evaluate your relationships and see if they are conducive to you being happy. If they are toxic, if you feel like you can't speak your mind, if you feel like you are not being yourself, if you feel like your relationships are getting in the way of your happiness, it's time to maybe set boundaries, maybe cut off relationships. So relationships are key to our happiness. So make sure you assess your relationships in order for you to get the most out of your happiness. The second area I want to go over is health. Health. Okay, listen. We all know when we feel good and when we look good, we are happy. A lot of times when we are sick, we feel miserable. When our bodies are in pain, we feel everything but happiness, right? So health is a key aspect when it comes to happiness. I believe the healthier you are, the happier you will be. When you feel good, when you're not in pain, when your mind is clear, when you're able to focus and concentrate, when you're able to move and be active, you become happier. So if you know that your health is one of those areas in your life that you should work on, you should evaluate it to see which ways you can improve. Can you get more active? Can you drink more water? Can you take certain supplements? Can you sleep better? Can you eat certain foods? Can you eat more fruits and veggies? Whatever it is, which ways can you enhance your health so that you are maximizing your health in the area of health in your life? Which ways are you maximizing your health in your life so that you can maximize happiness in your life with health? The third area I want to go over is finances. Finances, and specifically being financially independent, not depending on anyone or anything for your basic needs and necessities, and also your wants. I believe that we're not just here to pay all of our bills and just pay our needs or buy just things that we need, but also to enjoy some of our wants. So being financially independent is very important and crucial to our happiness. When we feel like we are depending on something or someone, we tend to be a little less happier because we are depending on them for finances. finances help us survive. So if we feel like we're depending on someone else or something for our survival, that affects our happiness. So if we are living paycheck to paycheck, or if we don't have control over our finances and maybe our partner has control over the finances, a lot of times we are dependent on what? Our job, or we are dependent on our check, our next check, or we're dependent on our partner. And a lot of times that affects our, not only our self-esteem and our confidence, but it affects our happiness. So which ways can you become financially independent? Can you maybe get a side job? Can you get maybe a side hustle? If you're a stay-at-home mom, or you stay at home and your partner is the primary breadwinner in your home, what can you do to bring in some money where you're not 100% financially dependent on someone? Finances is very important. If you think about it, maybe, I know for me, let me say that, I know for me, times in my life when I was broke and I didn't have money and I felt like I had to depend on other people, I was not very happy because I wasn't pleased. I didn't feel like I could go and spend money on groceries or go and spend money on things that I needed or wanted. I had to wait and depend on somebody else. That did not make me happy. Finances is one of those areas that is very important when it comes to happiness. When we are financially independent and we can do things on our own, we can buy things on our own, we're not waiting on the next check to buy something or get something, we are happier. It's a load that's lifted off of our shoulders when we are financially independent. Fourth area I want to go over is meaningful work. Meaningful work. Are you doing meaningful work? Right? This is one of those areas that we sometimes forget because we are so worried about getting the financial benefit of a job. I know for me, if I do not feel like I'm impacting people, if I'm not feeling like I have served people, I'm able to give back to my community, a lot of times I'm not happy. I am the most happiest when I'm able to help people, when I feel like I am doing a meaningful work. So that may be the same for you. I know meaningful work is important to a lot of people. So if it's one of those things where you feel like, hey, I have this job and in the meantime I'm going to just work this job, but I don't feel like I am doing meaningful work, which ways can you do meaningful work? Maybe still work your job and maybe volunteer at a place that you're passionate about. Maybe volunteer at a school because you love kids and you know that you're impacting kids and you're giving back to kids. Which ways can you maximize meaningful work in your life so that you can feel fulfilled? I know for me, when I was working certain jobs and I was at this call center one time, that's another story for another time. However, when I was at this call center, I was so miserable because I'm like, this is not impacting anybody. I'm answering these phones. I'm aggravated. They aggravated. We both aggravated. And I don't feel like I'm making a meaningful impact on anybody or anything. I was the most miserable when I was working jobs or at places that didn't make me feel like I was making an impact or doing something meaningful. So meaningful work is another crucial area for your happiness. Fifth area I want to go over with you is self-actualization. It is one thing when you feel like you're living like a very mediocre and content life. There's nothing wrong with being content and being happy where you are, but it's also something when you don't feel like you're living out your potential. When you feel like, okay, my potential is a level 10 and I'm just doing a bare minimum to get by. Think back to a time where something came easy to you and you just did the bare minimum so that you can just get by. You weren't reaching your full potential. You didn't probably feel very confident or very happy about that project or about that thing because you were not reaching your full potential and you knew that. So self-actualization is you knowing your potential, you reaching that potential, and you living that part of yourself that you know and believe that you can. Okay? When you are reaching your full potential and living out your full potential and your purpose and things like that, there's a certain sense of confidence and self-esteem and happiness you get that lingers and goes and overflow in your overall life. So you want to make sure with these 5 areas that you assess them. Maybe rate them, right? Rate them from 0 to 5. 0 meaning like I don't do any meaningful work. 5 meaning that I do meaningful work all the time, right? Rate them. And if you're from 0 to 2, you need a lot of work, and figure out what you need to do or what you can do in order to get those numbers higher. If you're at 4 or 5, great, awesome. If you're at 3, just do whatever you're doing, but do it more, right? So rate yourself. Let me know in the comments below where you are and what areas that you're going to work on. For me, I am always working on meaningful work because I always want to leave an impact. One of my missions here is to leave a legacy, to leave an impact, and to be remembered when I leave. So that's something I'm always working on. It's something that I always battle with. So let me know in the comments which areas you're working on and which areas you want to work on. Until my next video, I wish you love, joy, and peace. And remember, I love you.